Hello, my chicken nightmares! Please forgive any sweaty sheen on my face as summer has arrived and this is not the room in my house that is air conditioned. So anyway, ever since I bought a bike back around 2013, I've been experimenting with various medium format cameras to bring with it on bike rides just to photograph whatever randomness I happen to pedal across. So recently meaning about 2 years ago at this point, I started to think that the humble Century Graphic camera might be the most perfect medium format camera for my biking needs. So I'm pretty early yet in my relationship with this camera in regards to taking it on bike rides, but I think it'd be fun to talk about why I think this is going to be a really good bikeable medium format camera. But first off, so what is the very first photo of this outing going to be? You may be wondering. Well, check this out. Got ourselves a pile of sod or something with light beaming on it like it's the final goal for a quest. So this appears to be some hot sunny 16 action. Let's go 250, 16. Can barely hear it go schnick. Hey, it's the fun video where I do talking head and go out and ride a bike. So while this is definitely larger than many of the medium format cameras I've taken with me on bike rides, the Century Graphic does have some characteristics that really meet my needs. Let's go over them, starting with the lens choice. So one of the traits I want in a bikeable medium format camera is access to modern, sharp as shit lenses. For the bike ride I'm using an early 1960s vintage 105mm Schneider Zenar lens that came with the camera when I bought it. While the Zenar isn't a modern, sharp as shit lens, it's a pretty nice lens on its own. So as I work out the kinks of taking the Century Graphic with me on bike rides, I'm just keeping the Zenar lens with me because I have it, it's okay. And then if I find that I like just the way it operates from bike back, then I'll look into a modern sharp as shit lens for this camera. So while being essentially a little tiny version of a large format camera, there are many large format lenses that can be adapted to fit on this camera. However, since I'm using this on a bike back, I want it to be more portable, so I'm going to be more limited to shorter range focal length stuff that allows me to slide the lens into the camera and fold it up for easy storage in my bike trunk. But from exploring the options available that I believe I can mount into this camera, anywhere for $100 to $400, I can get access to some really nice modern lenses by Fuji, Nikon, and there's more, but I can't think of them offhand. But some of those even are like the really, really nice, sharp, apochromatic lenses that like will just cut your skin when you look at the pictures. It's so sharp. I don't know if that's true, but if I do end up upgrading the lens on this camera, there's a damn good chance I'm just going to spend the money and get one of those because I'm an adult now and I can do that kind of stuff. Yeah. What do we have here? Some murals. So what do y'all think about fake trees in front of real trees? 2 levels of treetography all in one. Actually, I want to back up some. Oh yeah, now we can get that trash can in there and really show off this mural. So the second feature that I think is a positive for this camera regarding biking with it is that it's a really kind of basic, simple camera. So like this particular one, which was dated from like early 1960s, an identical camera made 20 years earlier, the parts are pretty much all identical. Like they just made a whole bunch of them and just assembled them on demand for decades. So what this means is if I were happen to be biking along and whoop, took a little tumble and something smashes on the body here, I just go pick up another one real cheap and swap it out, or just buy a whole new body if this will get smashed. I mean, they're not expensive. That's a great feature. And like when they do require maintenance, like damn near everything can be done with little more than a screwdriver. Crash proof, perhaps. Crash tolerant, let's just say. So you see that intersection over there? Word on the street is that intersection, that cool truck, is gonna become a roundabout. Which is why I assume all of this area here is cleared out now to make room for a big sweeping roundabout. I think I should use my new camera and at least get a picture of this cut down stuff for the historical record. Once again, this looks like an easy peasy Sunny 6 teasy, so I'm not even gonna bother to meet her. So the third thing that I think is a positive for this camera for biking is the Kalart Rangefinder that most of these have. So the thing about the Kalart Rangefinder is, when it's properly configured, it'll only match up to one focal length, so you're just kind of stuck with one lens and be there, but that's fine. That's usually how I bike anyways. But the really cool part is that, like I said, the maintenance thing is that these are really simple to self-calibrate at home. Should any like shaking and jarling and going off jumps and doing flips on the bike cause the rangefinder to get out of whack. So unlike, say, the modern Mamiya 6, which is a super good camera, but like the rangefinder, you know, it has to couple to many lenses, so it's more of like a precision instrument. So I fear that if I took that with me on a bike ride and, you know, jostled it and knocked the rangefinder out, I might not be able to repair that at home, and I have to send it off, wait weeks, pay hundreds of dollars every time just because I want to ride and take photographs with a medium format camera. And it's but the humble little Century Graphic lets me just fix it between every bike ride. And that's the other thing is like this camera, if I knock the rangefinder out of line, I don't know until I develop the film and go, oh no, everything's out of focus. But with the Century Graphic, between every single ride, I could pop off the rollback, put on the ground glass, and just do a spot check of the rangefinder. And if it's off, fix it. There we go, mid-roll, every ride, the peace of mind knowing that the rangefinder is spot on. But we'll see over time how well the rangefinder even holds up with the shaking and jostling from bike. Who knows, it might be so robust it never goes out of whack. So you know what I don't find outside of like a wine mom's kitchen very much? Live, laugh, love. Love, laugh, live. Along with this very melty, wet sign. So it's kind of a cool little billboard with no animal sightings pinned to it. You know what's gonna happen, right? Live, laugh, love. Love, laugh, live. Let's get the street sign in there as well. Click, click, focus, in, click. The final point I want to make that I think is great for this camera is the relative cost. Like say for example, you're out biking with the old Mamiya 6 here, which since I bought it has like quadrupled in value. Suddenly it's like in the back of my bike trunk I got a camera that's worth more than my house. What happens if you take a spill and then it gets ooped? That's a lot of money just to risk in a bike bag. But this thing, we've touched on cost, but let's go a little deeper. I think about 10 years ago I paid $180 for this with the lens and a rollback. And recently, like in the past year, I bought a second one for $50 whole. My backup parts camera for when I take a tumble on this one are already in line for almost nothing. But looking at modern prices, it seems like you can expect to pick up a kit for anywhere between $150 to $300, so it's a pretty good deal for a medium format camera. So like even if I pack in the most expensive lens I can find for this and still take a spill and hopefully the body saves the lens, to my budget that's an acceptable risk, whereas this is not an acceptable risk. I was getting all ready to do a time lapse as I bombed this big gravel hill, but right at the top, I saw something I've never seen before in my life. A melted outhouse. Like, look at this, look at this. Huh? Did like the toilet chemicals ignite and totally melt this outhouse? Don't know, I'm not a melt houseologist, but something like this, being a once in a lifetime opportunity, I gotta stop and pop it. Although I really wish that I had my stepladder with me, because I think from a higher angle it'd be totally perfect. He's a chipmunk. Oh my god, there's a chipmunk 2 feet away from me. He's trying to steal my photo. Easy click. Melted out. Oh, I should probably focus. Oh yeah, that was way off. This also needs a quick snap for immediate social media usage. Who farted? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Post. So that covers the features I think are great about this camera, but like I said, it's taken me 2 years to get to this point. Mostly because I'm lazy and I took it out with me every couple months, but there were a few kinks and I just want to discuss one of the major ones here real quick. So remember I did that video where I was biking with the Sony Mavica and I kept getting flat tires and everything kept breaking down? Well, I had this with me as well as the first beta test to see how it rode along and shot. And what I learned on that ride are the Graflex rollbacks that often come with these cameras can be hot garbage. So in that bike ride, at one point I put the camera into the bag in such a way that, oh, look at this, the dark slide. It's made of like a plasticky bakelite thing. So you know what happened? It went and broke into two. No good. I fixed that and then took it on some more rides, and like every single time was just a cacophony of light leaks everywhere on my film, and it drove me nuts. I spent like weeks trying to hammer and smash and glue and repair this thing so it would stop leaking light, and it just never did. So I gave it the boot. Pretend I threw it. And what I did was I spent about an extra $100 on the Horseman 6x9 rollback. And this, just by touching it and feeling it, you can tell that it's not hot garbage, but it also has this other feature where the dark slide is made of metal. You know, that substance your grandparents used to tell you about, that everything used to be made of? Yeah, you can get some of that if you buy the Horseman back for your Century Graphic. So, this is my preliminary thoughts about the Century Graphic as a bikeable medium format camera. At the time of recording this sweaty head video, it's after the bike ride footage I'm showing, so I do know that I do like the way this operates from a bike back, of like pulling it out, you know, setting it up real quick, taking a picture. It's pretty nice. And like, even though it's a little bigger than many other options I could have, I'm not out biking to set any Strava KOM speed records, so a little extra weight in the trunk doesn't really bug me if it means I can take a picture of some of the weird, unique things I come across while exploring the countryside on a bike. And rest assured that if I do go ahead and update the lens on this camera, there will be a video documenting that outing, and it's gonna be like no tech talk, all dad jokes, balls to the wall fun. Till then, stay hydrated.